a counter smoke. Oh, this is some really good positioning from Archon. The vision of the Night Stalker is so key.
They want to find this Crystal Maiden if they can. They do end up getting the silence and getting on the Swindle's Winter's Curse. That's going to be a ton of damage dealt out very, very quickly. That's a Frostbite on top of the Ursa and the ulti coming out. So lots of damage being dealt but voided away. There is another wall drop. The Legions are starting to be creative. They've been able to turn this one back around, but the Winter Wyvern buyback as well. Legion was finally found by the Night Stalker. He's going to try and get back into this fight when he gets an opportunity to, but the Broodmother was already able to pick off the Bounty Hunter. Another chase now on top of Vlad. Swindles is trying to cover the best that he can, and meanwhile up top there also another fight going down. It looks like the Bristle might be able to turn this on the Tusk. Can they find the kill on the CM? They end up finding it, and it looks like Darkseer might fall as well. So two heroes chasing down bottom. There is the Surge away, opting to chase this one maybe. He does have a vacuum as well if he wants to go for it, but Silence back up again, and he has forced himself up to the high ground with the TP away. Now Bristleback continuing to hit here. Looks like he should be able to walk away from this one. Splinter Blast, is it enough? Not quite. Is going to be able to just sort of casually make his way out of here. I think that he stays alive. And relatively even trades. If you take a look at that fight recap, does he actually have enough for this? He has a TP that he can buy. Does end up using it now. And yeah, he's out of there.
And they actually, they just ping Roche because they had the spiders in there scouting it out, so well played there for Monkeys. A nice opportunity for them to go. They know the freezing field's down. Now, of course, Ping still does have everything because he got blown up before that fight started, so he'll have the 10-second BKB, and this is still definitely a winnable fight if CompLexity can sniff this out, and they will ping it, but will they get there in time?
Question. It doesn't look like it with the fact that Ursa is taking this so swiftly. There are 3 heroes though, and it looks like CompLexity still want to take this fight if they can get a chance to do it. Z-Freak up in front. No, they're not going to be able to find it. Freezing Field actually came off of cooldown because it was a really long engagement and was still able to toss out that Freezing Field at the start. Only 90 seconds cooldown at every level at this point in time.
Yeah, again, just that superior positioning. Working out so well the team fights. Unfortunately, not quite good enough. It's so hard to do the Shadow Fiend. Like, not only is it the massive damage from the Requiem, but the reduction, 50% damage reductions for 5 seconds. I think that's often overlooked in terms of the Requiem and the ability that it has to really crush a team fight for your allies. So, really well played there by Archon to get the Winner's Curse. I think that is certainly the target that you would ideally want to blow up before getting anything off.
Alright, well let's see if they're going to be able to actually turn this one back around right now. To get the track onto Whitebeard and then bounce on out yet again. And tossing out the Splinter Blast. This is going to be some solid just counter push at this point. What do you feel like is going to be necessary here for CompLexity to be able to really take the next team fight? I mean, that last one, it didn't completely go the way that they wanted it to, and Archon are definitely starting to snowball away. Is there a key item that you feel like they're going to need, or is it more just taking the team fight on their terms?
It seems like when you draft a Bristleback, ideally he's your frontliner. He's the one that is kind of bullying. Like, he's sitting up there, he's like putting out his quill, trying to stack a couple on before the team fight. But Dizzy was really far behind, so he's not able to fulfill that role. And I think that's really what they need in the end, is they just need this Bristleback to actually be doing stuff in the fight. And the 4-staff, like, some sort of another way to save your SF would also be great. You can see they're stacking Solar Crests on him now. He's got the evasion added as well from his own Talisman of Evasion, so maybe this one will go better. And maybe you're just trying to blow the Winter Wyvern first.
Oh, here they come. Archon are moving on in. They're going to be able to find the same. They're going to hop into Ghost Scepter. Meanwhile, the Requiem of Souls comes out, but onto 2 BKB'd and Enraged Heroes. No damage being dealt with that one. CM ulti immediately interrupted as well. Oh, this is the team fight that Archon wanted. Shadow Fiend finally able to take out the Night Stalker, though. And it looks like Ursa's going to try and keep chasing over here. Winter's Curse down on top of Z-Freak. He's going to end up falling. The Bristleback's still alive, though. Cool Spray's starting to mount on up. They do get the Aegis popped. Maybe the turnaround.
Nice.
So after the end of all of this, we do end up seeing the Night Stalker still dead. Jumping forward, Shadow is going to fall as well. Oh, and Archon starting to turn it back around now. You thought that it was looking good for a second. Blink forward, Crystal Maiden get eaten up by that bear.
Swindle did make it away with the gem. Wait, what? Swindle had the gem. Did he pass out someone else? He must have.
Nice.
He dropped his TP. Oh, they ended up getting it on their own courier. Okay, so they do have the gem. That's pretty important.
Yeah, definitely. making sure that they're able to keep that. And now if you're Archon, it might be time to sort of push on in and take on down a tower at this point in time. It seems like they're going to try and catch the Darkseer up here in the top lane. It's going to be a difficult one. Does end up casting on out a Surge, and yeah, he's going to be up there cutting the creep wave and realizes the inherent danger of the situation as he jumps on over out of there.
Oh, he's getting so greedy here. Oh, he actually gets the max range snowball.
Oh god, it connects! He's going to be able to cancel any TPs at this point. Right-click, Surge. Is he going to be able to get out of there? I don't think so. I think he's dead at this point. Vacuum back. Oh my god, the jukes are real. But now Night Stalker's here, and he's going to end up falling. Swindle trying to do everything that he can. Walrus Punch comes down on a big old spider. Just going to try and run away from this one.
Well, he tried to make the play. I thought he was going up for an extra Ion Shell, but I think he just thought that they were closer than they actually were. He probably could have got the 4-staff TP out near the side shop, but of course he doesn't have this nice overarching vision that we do, so... But, again, it looks like now's the time. Maybe even try and force a Darkseer buyback. Like, you've got some really fast push in the brew if you all just want to group up mid, or conversely, you can just head off your own way, farm up a little bit more, and head towards a couple bigger items. Wonder if our bear, you know, we saw the BKB pop, that was pretty key dealing with the Requiem. I'd like to see, you know, can we go like sheep? That's a classic. Ursa classic right there.
Oh yeah, there you go. I think that'd be pretty cool, definitely. It's always cool to see those sort of builds come on back into style as well. Have we talked much about the Crimson Guard yet? I think that's a pretty important item here as well for this Bristleback. Like, the fact that you're going to be able to sort of soak up all of those little mini right-click damage coming out from the Spiderlings is going to be pretty important, and also just on top of the creeps as well. Like, it's pretty decent, I think.
Yeah, and
I'm still very concerned.
Yeah, it is a good item for this situation where he was behind. Like a lot of Bristlebacks, you want to be looking into something like S&Y right away, maybe into a BKB, like I'm a fighter, I'm a brawler, but he ended up, you know, a little bit knocked down by a couple pegs taken out, as it were, down in that bottom lane. So the Crimson Guard's almost like a recovery, but you're up against Ursa, Night Stalker, and Tusk, like 3 heroes, and Brood, of course, the Spiders. They're all getting in there and doing the right click. So it's definitely one of the best Crimson Guard games you're ever really going to see. So certainly a value item, but I'm sure he wishes he was a little bit richer.
Certainly something that you want to be able to have. And the Broodmother, ready to jump on top of people, looks to be building on into that MKB now, potentially. Not something that you always see on the Broodmother, but considering there's the evasion, I don't think that there's any way this is a crit here, right? She would have seen the Talisman of Evasion already.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's MKB, just because you also have to deal with the Solar Crest anyway from the Bounty Hunter, so makes a lot of sense.
Well, Guardian Greaves could be picked up now by the Darkseer if they want. They're going to run and knock down at this tier 2 tower yet again. They've had 2 initiations go poorly so far for them at this place, and maybe the third one's going to be a little bit better as they finally able to take on down that tower. Only one more standing.
Part 3 went much better than part 1 and 2. Yeah, the deja vu coming out here, so at least now a little bit more map control going on here. And in terms of the warding though, man, how annoying is this? Like, if you switch to the Radiant Vision, you actually look how much value they get out of a ward, it's like nothing.
Yeah, it's so frustrating to play against.
I would consider Night Stalker to be, he's basically as frustrating to play against right now as someone like the Alchemist or the Doom, really, because the way that you have to ward as a support up against Night Stalker is just brutal. I mean, look at this ward down here in the bottom lane. Like, what is this? They will never see this ward unless it's against a Night Stalker. You basically have to sit them in the middle of the paths in order to see anything.
Yeah, it's really tough, and I think also as well, considering it's this game of vision where Roshans are so important and they can be taken so quickly, you really want to be able to find, you know, the vision that you need, so that way you can spot when something's going on. And with just the absolute none that they've been able to have, it's a little bit impressive that they've been able to stay in this game at least to this point, but it does feel more and more like CompLexity are losing a little bit of a grip on being able to really take this one here.
And I'm just looking over at our bear friend. He still hasn't made his choice. There are a couple options here. I don't know if he really wants to go for something like the MKB. Obviously, if you guarantee the hits, it means that your Fury Swipes get, you know, that's your main damage source anyway, so you just gotta make sure they are connecting. But similarly, like the Abyssal Blade might be the other big option. He's now up to almost 3,200 gold. The decision should be coming shortly.
I think that it would make sense to be going for that Abyssal, because you also get that little extra bit of HP that I like on him. It's not substantial. Like, he hasn't been dying, but a little bit helps, I think. You don't want to go like completely and totally overboard with it, but the fact that you would be able to get that little extra bit from it while also finding that solid lockdown, I think that he would be in a really, really comfortable place there. Plus also just getting the extra bonus damage. I mean, while he does stack on up and accelerate very quickly with the Fury Swipes, his first couple of hits aren't super impressive, and if you want to be able to burst down the CM, maybe in the extended team fight you're not going to have enough chance to be able to pop out two hits of overpower, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the other items like Blink Force Staff up on top of the fluff now for the Tusk. That completely changes the hero once you have the Blink. It's like a whole new power spike for like the amount that you're able to do and perform with a Tusk, right? So you can blink in, can make some big saves in the middle of like the vacuum, or if the Requiem's about to go off on your ally and you get a blink in, just because he's disabled by Frostbite or something like that. I mean, that can be game winning in a lot of situations, and it's all just from your little support Tusk. You know, what a hero.
Absolutely, what a hero. Everybody loves Tusk. He's just the best. Continuing to play the spider games over here. Swindle's finding anybody that he possibly can. And, still waiting, potentially for that next Roshan as well as those key items, and it's going to be a long one. Another couple of minutes before that guy is going to respawn, and you kind of have to give the vision advantage and everything else to Archon being able to take it, but it's going to come down to who wins this next team fight. And I feel like always in these moments before Roshan ends up coming back around, you're going to see a couple of smokes, people trying to find the other team and find one or two pickoffs, so that way you can't contest Roshan. And then if you do that, potentially you force a buyback. If you win that fight, and sometimes just be game, depending upon how well the engagements really go. And Radiant doing their best now to be able to place that vision down. Do put a ward down in lane as well for the bounty hunter, because he's going to get a little bit separated from the herd now. Arctic burn down on top of him, but he's just going to walk away, be comfortable doing bristleback things.
Yeah, he has reached the point where he's tanking enough where he's just not worth dealing with. Just like, alright, whatever, just go, like, do your thing. It's just not really worth that engagement factor they would have to commit in order to bring him down. Now with an MKB done, life gets harder again for Ping. But with that Satanic, no, maybe he can tear into somebody and save himself on these fights if he's not getting locked down. And even himself, like, he could end up getting blinded by the crippling fear, and every nighttime that's 50%. So it can be devastating when you're trying to lifesteal back up with the Satanic and can't hit anything.
Again, bottom lane, Jayo's going to be pushing out this tier 2 tower, so still not taking a very convincing fight at this point. We do have the potential to TP on back now for the Ursa if he wants to, but the tower already down. He's going to be back on over here into the base. Maybe thinking about trying to reinitiate here and take this next Roshan. Still waiting for their moment as the MKB is going to be picked up by the Ursa.
Yeah, I like this little smoke play here. You go to the Dire Vision. Oh, it's so hard to smoke up against the Night Stalker though. Oh jeez. Glad. Spot up first, and I guess here we go.
Able to catch here. He still does pop the Crimson Guard, ready for the fight now. Silenced up on the CM. Ghost Scepter gets popped. Gonna toss out another little shard. Oh man, Monkey's Forever is falling very quickly. Does end up going down. Now the Winter's Curse on top of the Shadow Fiend. He is going to end up falling as well. Z-Freak taking a heck of a lot of damage, and it looks like right now Archon are in a pretty good space after being able to eliminate those key components. Oh, CM ulti turning it back around. Jai was actually separated. He's not going to be able to get in on top of her, but he doesn't end up falling and raging through that ulti. Right clicks a bound. He's going to take a hit, and now all of a sudden, CompLexity fighting back.
That wall was so perfectly placed by Swindle. He completely trapped the two of them in there, resulting in Fluff having to TP out, and of course Jo going down, just downright. And again, like Vlad, this guy, I tell you, it's so rare that you actually see a Crystal Maiden get off this many ultimates, and look how many stuns there are on Archon. Like, you've got the Night Stalker, and you've got, I mean, basically Ursa could just walk up and annihilate her if he's anywhere nearby. So, just really well positioned. The last couple got cancelled by snowballs, but hitting his stride again. That fight's just over if it's not for the freezing fields and, again, that wall.
I think that she's the MVP right now for complexity, honestly. Has been able to just pick up and itemize exactly the way that she's needed to, always having her earn charges like used on up to sustain throughout a team fight or finish off those last couple of kills. And of course, what we've been talking about for the past couple of minutes here, the freezing fields, is going to be a little bit out of position here as I talk about the caster's curse and how great she's been playing. But getting covered by the team, they're not going to be able to find this one. Vacuum back onto 3. I thought about bringing him up onto the cliff, but isn't going to be able to do that. Instead, it looks like Archon is going to be able to walk away from this one.
So you think she's out of position, but really she's just baiting. I mean, we don't even know the depth of Vlad. Like, we haven't even begun to understand this guy. And freezing field's back up. Who knew this cooldown was only 90 seconds?
I know, it's very impressive. It's definitely going to be, especially with this blink dagger I'm imagining is going to be the next item for the CM. All of a sudden, you're able to stay in better position, and the fights don't start with the Night Stalker finding you anymore. You're behind the enemy line, you're behind your teammate way further, and it's just going to be able to jump forward exactly where she wants to get that freezing field off.
Yeah, I wonder,
assuming that's
like BKB will sometimes see, but it is a little risky up against the Ursa, so maybe just, I guess it would be a lot of personal preference. Like if you think you can continue to get these really good positioning, you just want to get them as fast as possible as it is. He's tanky, he's actually turning.
He's going to be able to catch their snowball forward. Not going to be able to find anybody, but Bristleback, like you mentioned, very tanky, and I think that he's comfortable walking away from this one. No, is going to slow and eventually get taken down by that Brood Mother. Alright, this might be the moment right now that we've been waiting for. Archon feeling very comfortable with where they've at. They've got the Aegis up now as well on Jayo. They're going to get ready to jump on in with these blink daggers, and wall gets dropped defensively.
I mean, this is what you can do now. It lasts 45 seconds? Yeah, 45 second duration now. Like, it's just so great to have Monkey's sidesteps and being a little bit cheeky over here with the Brood Mother.
That came back in yet again. And they're just going to have to back on out. The problem is they don't have all of the lanes pushed in right now. So top right now is getting pushed very heavily by the Radiant. They are going to actually have to back on out, I think, or at least send one more person down there. They're thinking about it. They might be waiting, but again, this lane is just pushing out so hard. 4 range creeps as well as a bunch of melees. I don't think it's going to be able... It's going to do some amount of damage, but with no TP boost right now, as well as the threat of getting their barracks taken, it looks like Complexity are just going to be sitting pat for now as they wait down for the wall to finally expire.
I think items that I'd like to see come out would be more force staffs. We kind of talked about, like, that's why I think Swindle's that was his first item before the blink was a force staff, and if you can get another one on top of Vlad, that point where Zizzy just died back there, you probably could have been able to escape with the second one. Oh, boom. Oh, so good. Thanks, Vlad. Thanks for making me sound smart, buddy. So, pick up
Nicely
that
done.
staff.
That's pretty good. It's always nice when that ends up happening, or like in the draft screen.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they should probably go now, and then they end up picking the hero that you called out. That was good.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's just so good up against the Ursa, right? Like, he only has a limited amount of lockdown. He did go for the MKB, so chat, Twitch chat, always right. Good job, guys. You guys were calling for it. And it looks like
there
we're
we
going in.
go. Forward punch as well. Oh my goodness, he got strong. Back over there. Huge damage being expended all the way. Buyback immediately by the Shadow Fiend. He needs to be back into there. The illusions are everywhere though, and Jayo is finally going to end up getting hit by that Frost Blast as well as the freezing field coming out. Another huge kill. It isn't onto all of them, but it is onto the key one. Raid Boss Mr. Jayo does end up finally falling. Thanks very much to that Crystal Maiden doing everything that she needed to do, and the buyback on the Shadow Fiend expended, but I feel like that one is definitely worth it for taking on out the Aegis and the Ursa. Oh my god, white beard.
So sneaky.
So sneaky. And Blink Dagger also going to be picked up now on him, but it's back in base, so for now at least he needs to keep on hanging out with no TP scroll. He's gonna just go on away from there. And the courier actually almost would have been able to spot him. Oh god, that would have been really bad. But they're going in for the kill now. This might be the moment where they're feeling comfortable. They have enough. They don't have buyback. They do have a buyback on Ursa. So if they want to fight this one, they can. They're not going to have a Winter's Curse back up for another 30 seconds. Maybe this is the moment. If you're an Ursa right now, you don't want to buy back though.
Dire's middle tower is under
No, I think they can hold without it. Just trying to use the ice arrows to slow them down. The Crippling Fear, trying to delay this tower push. And it looks like they pretty much have this one secured. Oh man, getting so unlucky with these uphills. There we go.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
As soon as the tower goes, they start to turn around now.
Oh, no.
The courier does end up falling. Okay, no big deal. Walrus Punch on top of the CM. She's going to Ghost Scepter through this one, but I think she still ends up dying if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're all on top of her. She's just going to take them on a merry little chase and make sure that the rest of her carries are able to get out of there. So, very nice little Crystal Maiden doing the support duties everybody wants them to do.
Well, that's a pretty big win. I mean, losing just the tower, obviously not ideal, but you really don't want to lose any more gold on this bear. You know, you already had to have the death. You don't have the buyback too, and they'll smoke up. It's still fairly dangerous, I would have to say, in terms of complexity.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we talked about how they were coming back into it, but it's still a 15k EXP lead, 7,500 net worth as well. If they take another couple of fights like that, though, and this might be one of them. Winter's Curse again on top of the Shadow Fiend. This is going to be a dieback right now if they're able to get him. One more right click. No, he turns around. Satanic has popped as well, and he's going to survive through it. That is huge. All right, now again, Whitebeard gets separated. He's going to take a little bit more hits from Z's here. A little bit more with the stacks of the Vicious Nasal Goo getting tossed out, but again, just sacrificing himself for the team. He's going to find Monkeys Forever tracked up now, the bonus movement speed as well as the surge. BKB is popped, still chasing. This Bristleback is so freaking scary and fast.
Yeah, this track movement speed is awesome. There's lines to keep up with them, but it does look like he'll be safe thanks to that force death. Alright, well here we go again.
Really nice.
No buyback this time though, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and they're going to be going for the high ground yet again. It looks like they're actually content to push on out the top lane now and try and take another set of the tier 3 towers. They're feeling like it's more important there to get them off of both of them so that way they can find their other initiation point. Ursa immediately tears apart the Crystal Maiden. That is actually really, really important now. Oh, Reckoning of Souls does come out. No, ends up getting bashed by the Monkey. Oh, Monkey King Bar. Huge value right there. And now the Bristleback getting chased down. Z-Freak is going to fall. Snowball forward. Gem on the ground. Oh, God. And Complexity lose 4. Huge.
They actually lose Jo just from the quill sprays, but we'll consider that okay. So no buybacks, of course, on Ping. It wasn't his dieback. It's a little bit sad, but at least you took that fight that you lost. At least it's there, right? It's not at your base, so it does look like the majority of Complexity will be back up before there's a big push.
Yeah, absolutely. Roshan's still a ways away before it's going to end up being back up, and right now Moo with the AC is going to be comfortable as well to do a little bit more structural damage here to these towers. I think that if they're able to get a creep wave in with them, they would be very comfortable at least trying to push out these waves and make sure that, you know, when the final fight does end up happening, they're not all pushed up at your tier 3s already. Also Whitebeard now trying to cut the creep wave a little bit with those Splinter Blasts, which do so much damage. They do end up finding the Spider. No reveal at this point in time. It's just going to be a Shiva's Guard to clear on out those creeps.
So Ping, you know, he'll be up, and well, he might be close to buyback timer. It's still 2 minutes away, and he will likely have the gold for it. Yeah, he'll definitely have the gold for it, at least when the timer is back up. And I guess if you're Archon now, you probably just wait for that next Roche. You're at this point, you take it in about 5 seconds flat. So I consider it not as dangerous as it once was, and I think they'll just look to secure that, slap it on probably the bear again. Just head on in, full tilt.
Bristleback up forward yet again. Don't want to commit all of it yet, but they do get the Crippling Fear down as well as the Void. And kind of waiting for a Silver Edge to pop out at some point. I think that would be the item to really be able to dismantle this Bristleback. They do end up jumping on top of the CM, and she is going to fall. Broodmother picking up that kill. And now separated again is going to be the Bounty Hunter. They do end up having the reveal, I think, to be able to find him. Yes, he is going to drop yet again. That gem up, just doing too much work for that Night Stalker. And 2 heroes dead now. Is this the moment where they're going to go? Keep on asking it. Haven't seen it quite yet.
Well, unfortunately, at least for Archon, again, and very fortunately for Complexity, we're going to be having another extremely late Roshan, almost maximum time, so about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And that might just be the saving grace here for Complexity.
They're starting to stack up cheeses now as well. I mean, Broodmother has one there in her inventory, along with just a ton of other really big items right now. Alright, they end up finding the bristleback. It kind of feels like they're not going to have enough to brace them down, though, without the rest of the team coming on. And never mind, Jaya was right there. Look at him get torn apart. Oh my god. Lotus Shell is also up now. Top of the Brood, I think that's what that was, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, they're just going to be able to tear down these towers. And bottom one going to be soon falling. It looks like they're going to shift their focus down to make sure that this ends up happening with the Deso on up, as well as the creeps in the base to be able to take away that backdoor protection. This is going to fall very, very quickly. And yeah, it is a Lotus Orb that's up there. Create a couple of illusions, vacuum on back, but the B is popped as well. They're jumping forward, huge initiation right there. Again, oh, Shadow Fiend is torn apart. This might end up being it, but again, the freezing field is so huge from the Crystal Maiden. The buyback on both the Bristleback as well as the Shadow Fiend. That is going to be the Ursa falling right here. I was just talking about how I thought this was going to be the one, and he's taking a ton of damage right now. He ends up dropping. 3 heroes dead right now, and the only people left are going to be the Night Stalker as well as the Tusk, who end up tossing on back as shards that way they don't get chased on down. But maybe going to be able to jump on back in again. A big gold swing. That's the silence down on top of Swindles, and he might have to overstay his welcome. No, nice Force Staff. Reinitiation yet again. Vlad is there. Does have the Force Staff ready to jump forward. Catches with a couple of spells, but this CM is really not afraid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they feel very comfortable pushing forward. They know it's only the 2 of them up on the map. No surprise that they might actually get them with the track gold. Nice.
Huge. We do have buyback on everybody pretty much. There's the buyback by the Tusk. Key ones, though, are we going to be able to see them come on out? The buyback by the Brood. Ursa, you know you want to. Be a cool kid. Keep on applying all of these damage over time things here. And
wow, they're going to give it up?
They're going to try and leave it up.
That's a huge win for CompLexity. I mean, if they can just get out of here without losing too many, they've got lots of Force Staff to try and save Ziz.
It is only, it's the melee rack, so the more important one, the range rack still stand. A lot of gold on the CM. She ends up buying the E-Blade before she ends up thinking that she's going to die. Lays on down, a little stares at him for a second. Guys, how's it going? Giant spider. But now Roche back up. CM dead. I think that they're feeling very comfortable to push on in here.
Just your typical, E-Blade, Crystal Maiden. Pretty standard, Pretty much every single game, Who needs any of those other items? So, and they're very nice again. I mean, we've talked about all these melee brawlers. Gotta love that. And try and slow down the Ursa maybe after the BKB. We know that those charges are starting to wear down. He is down to the 5 seconds. And the Broodmother also down to 5 seconds. So becoming less relevant, and Crystal Maiden getting a little bit back on the upswing now. I mean, we've already seen it with the freezing fields, but now with that E-Blade too.
Well, and I mean, right now, Crystal Maiden has 11 base armor total. Like, she's actually one of the higher armor heroes on the team now because of all of that agi she gets from the E-Blade, which is pretty ridiculous. It's like you said, not often that you end up seeing that, but I like it a lot, and it's going to mean, of course, also that if you do end up wanting to truly try and combo somebody down, you can do it that much more quickly. How often I feel like do we see the Broodmother at the top of the net worth is pretty surprising to me. She's really been able to have a big impact on this game consistently with Monkeys Forever here. Yeah,
especially 50 minutes in. Like that's pretty crazy. I mean, you don't really have any other flash farmers on the side of the Dire. Like Ursa relies a lot on Roshan and kills for a lot of his net worth, and he's been doing fairly well. But yeah, I think maybe just a couple too many deaths for him to be right on top of the chart. And Brood just being able, like, we've seen Monkeys consistently having a lot of spiders out on the field, and he's living through a lot of these fights, 10, 3, and 8. So, yeah, definitely surprising, though. And a little bit odd, like, that we don't have any more wave clear, really. You can't even really consider Brood wave clear. She just has spiders that do their thing for her.
So both teams, one of them smoked in their base, the other one just sitting in their base. Not often that you see that. Finally, as nighttime ends up coming around, darkness off of cooldown, we do see Archon move on out and feel comfortable making their way across the map. Kind of interesting there.
And Swindle has a lot of buttons to hit right now. He's got the the 10 active build right now with his spells and all his items. So hopefully he'll be able to get them all off. Really, it's all about just priorities. So hoping to get a really nice sheep. It's a little sad when you have to try and sheep someone like Jo when he's got the Aegis, so maybe trying to bring down monkeys before you get off the cheese would be pretty clutch. Does he have buyback?
Definitely.
No, he doesn't, so he also has the cooldown. So it doesn't look like there's no buyback bots, which would be pretty crucial in terms of actually winning this fight for like the game secure. So it looks like there's still a bit more time here for CompLexity to really farm up and try and mount another bold defense.
The thing though is it's so hard to really do that at any point, and they don't want to leave their base at all when it's nighttime. Like you see right here, the Bristleback barely willing to move on outside the base to farm on up this big creep wave here, and that's with the rest of his team standing right behind him. He's going to get a lot of these spiders right now though, just apparently feeding these ones. It looks like the smoke's going to be able to come on forward there, jump on top of him. Walrus punch down as well. The Force Staffs are keeping him alive. E-Blade's onto the catapult, a little bit unfortunate there, and it looks like the Bristleback is going to fall, I do believe. Requiem down on top yet again, and this is freezing Gill off to the side. Not going to be able to do a ton besides kill off that Winter Wyvern. So they lose the Bristleback for the Winter Wyvern at this point in time, and 1,010,000 particles all over the screen.
That was a good maneuver there by Archon to actually get out, because it's pretty hard. Like, you just blew all your big nukes right on top of the Bristleback, so you're using a lot of your spells, and then you're using also Enrage and your BKB on your Ursa, so if, let's say, Swindle got in there with a big vacuum wall on top of all that, that could have been devastating right after, but they got out, ducked out just in time, and the limited vision of the Radiant, if you looked at just their vision, there weren't any tracks placed up as well, so they can only see this far, and that makes it so much harder for Swindle. Like, all they can see is monkeys right now. They can't see anything back here.
Very frustrating, and they do end up using the vacuum there, as well as the wall drop. This is going to embolden them to be able to push on over here into this mid lane and take on down this tower in just a second. Nightstalker going forward for one last hit. There's the E-Blade down on top of him. Not quite opting to use this yet. Vlad jumping back. Nice Force Staff, keeping that separation. BKBs are now popped for the Broodmother. Needs to get out of there. Does get turned into a sheep by Swindles after the blink forward, but no follow-up quite yet. Alright. Put it back and forth yet again, and it looks like Winter Wyvern, after respawning, is trying to get back into the fray as quickly as possible.
It looks like Ziz will be back up by the time anything actually happens here. This is like a horror movie from the side of the Radiant. I just keep switching over to their vision, and they can't see anything. Like anything at all. They have no idea what is happening in this game. Heroes just randomly appear out here near the creep wave. There's, you don't have any observers outside the base because it's so easy for them to get rid of it with the Night Stalker.
Yeah. It really is. It's relatively disheartening. I'm really surprised we haven't seen a Silver Edge quite yet in this game. I mean, obviously the Lotus Orb is great for being able to toss that out with the Tusk, but one of those items that the break ability to be able to use that on the Bristleback just makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, and there's nothing to debuff it either from the side of CompLexity, at least not yet. So he doesn't have a BKB. There's no Abaddon or something like that.
And I don't think that they're going to end up... Well, Darkseer probably eventually is going to upgrade into Guardian Greaves, but while still having the Boots of Travel, I would imagine. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty dangerous proposition as the Crimson Guard is up for the Bristleback, potentially building on into... it looks like he's going to be going for the AC himself.
I'm trying to... Is there any concern as this game wears on for either team? Like, we can already see it's starting to kind of level out near the top. Everyone's kind of starting to coagulate around 23,000 net worth. You got 3 heroes on the Dire, 2 on the Radiant, and then it's a big steep drop-off thing towards Ziz. How does this play out over the next 15 minutes? That's the question, it seems.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, Shadow Fiend obviously can just turn into this sort of ridiculous tanky monster of, awesomeness where you just sort of stand up and walk in front of people and right-click people to doom. You don't even need to necessarily rely upon Requiem of Souls anymore for your damage because your right-clicks just become so impressive as you build into maybe a Scotty later on or something else like that after you trade out your Aquila. But again, there's always going to be the problem here that you don't have a grave or something else to be able to keep you alive if the Ursa gets on top of you. So when this Abyssal is finished off by the Ursa, I feel like that's going to be a turning point in this game because you're either going to be able to use it to break the CM ulti or you're going to be able to use it to catch either the Shadow Fiend out. And there's still a lot of room to grow, I feel like, for Archon's side in terms of key items that haven't been picked up yet. As I mentioned, the Silver Edge, also the Abyssal there for the the Ursa, and Enrage is just such a great spell. Like, you're gonna always be able to get off your abilities, I feel like, as long as you don't get caught by like an immediate hex.
Also, how did Moo get second on net worth on a Night Stalker? That is like the craziest thing. I mean, I understand he's got, you know, some decent kills and everything like that, but 250 CS and he had the Midas for a long time. It is so rare that you see a Night Stalker. This is like the equivalent of like a Clockwork was somehow still second highest net worth without that many kills, like, you know, sort of short of 50 kills or something for your team.
I mean, he's died only twice, so that's a key component of it. It does look like now they're getting ready to get into a position here to potentially take a fight. All Swindles is going to end up getting caught out here. Silence is going to come down soon to follow, and imagine there's the E-Blade, keep him alive a little bit longer, and they're just going to back on out. Don't want to take this one if they don't have to. BKB now popped as well. Moo, the big old red Night Stalker, is just going to run on out of here.
Yeah, that was a very smart BKB, because you don't want to force your team to have to commit to something. Like, they don't want to have to turn around and save Moo or anything like that. It looks like they'll just head right on into Roche. Smoke.
So, can they stop this one? That's the question.
Oh, there were smokes on the way, but they sent it back to get someone's MKB. Looks like it's for a ping. And does he not have buyback? Yeah, actually he doesn't have buyback. Wow.
Oh god.
That's a little crazy.
That's really terrifying. 930 gold away from it. Okay, they do end up circling around this Night Stalker, but it's a little bit hard to sneak up on that guy. Looks like they're going to be going on up to the top lane, though, and not really in position to be able to defend this at this point. Archon might be a little bit caught out. If they're able to get up into the high ground or potentially find them, this ward isn't going to give you any vision right now. Sorry, CM. This is a Night Stalker game.
Yeah, it's just so sad. And it's not even like when someone on the other team just has a gem and you have to be really sneaky with your wards and like put them on, you know, unsuspecting spots and everything like that. Like, no. Like, this is just Night Stalker. There's no wards. You're not allowed.
Yeah. Bristleback getting chased now. Oh, daytime. Blink forward is going to be able to hit with the shards, not catching. Snowball will, but I don't think they have enough to bring him down. Might have actually overextended a little bit if they try to turn on this right now for CompLexity. I guess it's a little bit too worrying, but it is daytime. Like, that was a moment there where CompLexity might have been able to turn that one back around. But the moment has passed, I do believe.
Yeah, this this is turning into a long one. I wonder if Monkey's, I guess he hasn't really bought anything for a while. Just sitting on what he has, trying to maybe offer some farm up to his allies. Again, we return to the dreaded nighttime. Can they make something happen? Oh, they're going right on deep.
Gonna be able to take him on out. Monkey's forever down. Winter's Curse gonna hit onto Swindles. He is gonna fall so quickly now. This might end up being it, I believe. Vlad gonna be able to stay alive a little bit longer. There's the CM ulti, but it's not gonna be hitting anybody right now. Wall does fall, but no vacuum follow-up quite yet. And everybody from Archon making their way out of there. The buybacks came on out as well in full effect by the Darkseer. Needed to get back into that one to secure that they didn't end up getting taken down. But question is, can they take a second salvo?
So that's Vacuum. Well, obviously Vacuum's back. The wall's down. You still have the Requiem. It's definitely looking good for Archon, and maybe waiting for that Abyssal Blade and the BKB on the Ursa. At least by the time he dies with Aegis, he should have the backup, which is very important.
Nighttime again. They end up hitting here on top of the Bristleback. Still perfectly fine with it. A couple more right clicks can happen. Monkey's forever. The Lotus Orb is out as well. Is going to be able to frostbite the CM herself. Walrus Punch down now on top of the Bristleback again. BKB is popped, but he's not on top of anybody. This Ursa not really going to be able to do as much. Nice 4-staff, keeping alive a little sheepy as he ends up getting sent away. Bristleback again. He keep on getting hit, but so many stacks right now of this. Oh my god, the Cool Spray is doing a lot, but I think that right now they're actually overextending. The Broodmother does end up falling. Gio is tracked up, and they're going to be able to take him down. No amount of Enrage is going to keep him alive, but the Aegis, can they take him a second time? That's the real question. Moo is up in the middle of all of them again. These 4-staffs are paying so much dividends right now. Fluff and Stuff snowballed over his own shards. They do take the tier 3 tower. E-Blade again down on top of Moo. Silence down on top of the CM. She is going to be dead. Buyback immediately by her. Now CM, oh, able to interrupt the Requiem. That's not going to be able to do enough damage, and I think that the Shadow Beam is going to end up falling. Oh god, that's doing it! Now takes a ton of damage, but look at them all falling to the ulti. Monkey's Forever does end up popping the cheese, still alive. Buyback on the Shadow Feed again. if they're able to get out of here, I think that this is worth it. The second Requiem, not as cool as the first one, but Swindle's still chasing. Another track on up. They're going to be able to keep up with them. There's the slope coming out from the E-Blade, and I think that they might have been able to do this one. Buybacks only on the Ursa, Night Stalker, and Tusk, so that's actually everybody that they're going to need it. The Broodmother, though, the key hero that's going to be out of these next couple of engagements, and again, CompLexity hold. 4,000 gold swing, mainly off of the back of that CM, dealing 4,700 damage in that fight.
Well, she was chucking out E-Blades, throwing up the ultimate. They did lose the mid-melee racks, so it wasn't all for naught for Archon. And slowly but surely, they seem to be whittling down this Radiant base. And I don't think that, even if they were to lose another fight, it seems like it's insurmountable right now. But CompLexity, definitely never say die. Looks like they'll head up to the mid lane.
Here's the thing, they do have the Brood down for another 80 seconds. This is their moment. If they, like, the CM ulti is going to be back up again in a second. They're going to have all of their big spells up. I think that Wall should be up in 30 seconds. He has TP boots. So if they take this fight right now, they can potentially go for tier 4s and maybe just to end the game. Brood's not up for another minute. This is their moment, and I think that they're going to be going for it now. They're a 4-on-5. Potentially, yeah, they're just going for it right now.
The refresher's done for winner, though.
Tower.
That could be massive.
Yeah, they just need to be so careful about their positioning. If they're separating out right now. This is exactly what they need to be able to do. Glimmer Cape initiation. There's the snowball forward. Winter's Curse, but not going to be able to have enough damage right now to get on top of the Shadow Fiend. Lotus Orb keeping him alive a little bit longer. Vacuum Wall back, Bluff and stuff is taking a good amount of damage as well. There's the Requiem out. Jo dropping down to half HP. Can they bring down the Shadow Fiend? He ends up dying back. There goes the Ursa though. They're turning this one around. The illusions are dealing so much damage. Night Stalker is fallen as well. They're just going from person to person. Buyback by the Ursa though. This could be the turning point. Still so many Lotus Orbs. Bristleback looks like he might end up falling. The key thing here right now, if you take a look, no buyback for the Crystal Maiden, no buyback for the Shadow Fiend. They do get vacuumed over and over again, but where's the follow-up? It looked good, it looked great, but I think that CompLexity might end up dying at this point in time.
My blades will answer.
It was a noble effort. They were so close.
Absolutely.
That second Winner's Curse by Whitebeard was sick. Complete 5-man Winner's Curse. Just allowing them to blow up. And he waited, honestly, it was like the last millisecond of the Lotus Orb before he threw it out. It was extremely well played. And now they're just, oh, look at that, Lotus Orb plays.
Snowball's found. Now it looks like they might be able to take on down this Bristleback with everything else being tossed out. The Force Staff plays, the Lotus Orbs, all of it has been on point for CompLexity, trying to keep their buddies alive. They just don't have the damage to be able to deal with it. And at the end of the day, it looks like Archon is going to take what has felt like, oh, maybe they want it. Vacuum on top of 4, but no, the Ancient does end up falling. Game well played ends up getting called in what felt like a third game is just the first one, so more action in a second. 64-minute thriller. Thank you all very much for watching. Any thoughts as to move into this next one?
It just seemed like steadily the entire time Archon were ahead, but you still weren't really sure if they were going to close it out. But they did manage to. Props to CompLexity. They hung in there for a pretty long time. We had some pretty fun plays coming out with all our Force Staffs and our Let It Goes from the Crystal Maiden. But I'm excited for game 2.